We sorted out straws, we banned the bags, we put a stop to single-use containers, but the plastic problem is still way out of hand. Now there's a global plan to deal with plastic once and for all.
In Australia alone, an estimated 145,000 tonnes of plastic seep into the environment every year. That's 250 kilograms every minute. It's a problem that has found microplastics in bees, in beer and even baby placentas. And it doesn't discriminate. Lord of the Rings star Orlando Bloom taking to social media this week, having plastics cleared from his blood plasma, a procedure costing almost $20,000. Now, in an attempt to curb the plastic pandemic, the Australian government plans to join 96 other countries in a push for a global plastics treaty.
It's only by working together that we achieve what our ocean needs, and we're committed to the global fight to save it.
And it can't come a moment too soon. Birds on Lord Howe Island, so full of pollutants their stomachs crunch.
It's imperative that nations come together and enact global solutions.
The treaty aims to reduce the extraction of raw materials, cut the production of plastic products and enforce a shift away from the consumption of disposable products.
That might include a reduction of how much packaging we're seeing on our products, but it also might look at how products such as plastic fishing gear is made, so all sectors, all industries and all people can benefit from what the treaty might offer.
The first thing in Australia's sights? Imported packaging. While Australia strictly regulates the plastic it exports to be recycled, there's nothing existing for imports. And it's really stacking up. In 2017, plastic recycling rates were around 12.5%. In that year, the industry committed to recycling 70% of plastics by 2025. But we're still at 12.5%. 3 years have passed since the launch of the plastics treaty negotiations, and nations are still a distance from finalising.
We're seeing a divergence between the majority of countries who are wanting action and the few who have vested interests in plastics. So it's really disappointing to see the economic interests of a few hold up the negotiations and prevent us from finalising a treaty.
While the world waits for action, the plastics pile up, another half a tonne since the start of this story.
Dr. Jen Matthews is a marine biologist and part of the Future Reefs team at UTS. She joined us a little earlier. Jen, some pretty disturbing stuff there. Birds that are so full of plastic that their stomachs crunch. That's shocking stuff to see. How bad is it out there?
Oh, look, it's pretty bad. Plastics are in almost every environment now, from the deepest parts of our oceans to the air that we breathe and even human bodies. I think we produce something like 400 million tonnes of plastic each year, and then only a small portion of that is actually recycled, and the rest ends up in our environment. Breaks down into smaller pieces of plastic, and they linger for centuries. And so we're not dealing with necessarily a plastic pollution problem. It's more of a contamination crisis.
So how likely then is it that this global treaty will actually work?
Well, it's a great first step. I guess it's great to hear that nations are coming together to put together like a legally binding global agreement, but how effective it is really depends on how ambitious it is, I guess. So some nations really want to prioritise recycling and reducing pollution. Others want to really target the development and product design phase. So if we have like a watered down deal, then we're really going to miss the mark. But if we can actually create something that's really tight and impactful, then I think it could be our opportunity to turn the tide on microplastic pollution.
If microplastics are turning up in placentas, has the horse already bolted on this stuff? Is there anything we can do?
It is, it's pretty alarming to hear that microplastics are crossing biological membranes like placentas, but I don't think the horse has bolted yet, especially action like this treaty and then recycling initiatives and reducing the plastics that we're actually putting into the environment. I think all of those things will go a long way to helping.
So is it possible at all to cleanse your body of plastics, or have I been loading up on all that fibre for no reason?
Yeah, what a plastic detox.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not a medical professional, but as far as I know, there's no clinical evidence that would work as well. Any plastics that you ingest, they don't just float around in your bloodstream. They tend to embed themselves in organs and tissues, just to paint you a really nice picture there. But yeah, so actually cleaning your blood of plastics, I'm not so sure that would be effective. I think you're probably better off actually preventing it to come in. I think in this case, prevention is better than a cure that we don't have. So yeah, I'm not quite sure that is really going to be that effective.
Okay.
Well, hey, Jen, it looks like we can see some lightning in the background off in the distance there. I think it's time for us to let you go and let you get to sail. There we go.
Right now. Oh my God.
Stop talking to us, Jen. Go.
Run.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Jen.
Run.
Bye, Jen.
Thank you so much. Bye.